Welcome back, everybody. We are ready to get live with yet another quarterfinals game. And this time it's going to be the defending champions from the previous series, Series 9, up against the up-and-coming CYBERSHOKE prospects. And I don't know about you, Zerfer, but I think this is one of the toughest teams that anyone that is wanting to play at this caliber of play could possibly go into for CYBERSHOKE prospects.
Absolutely. This will be a real kind of telltale sign of how good this CYBERSHOKE prospects team actually are. Although in saying that, I don't think Nuclear Tigers were amazing yesterday versus Just Players. They didn't play fantastic, but they just managed to get the result. And, you know, it's that kind of never say die attitude. They just have a little bit more in between their teeth, that little bit of grit to get it over the line. But for CYBERSHOKE prospects, you know, they came into this event, their first NODWIN, 3-0 on the Swiss stage. They beat WW. Not really too many teams in there that they've beaten were amazing. Definitely none on the level of Nuclear Tigers. I know before somebody says WW, you know, they beat Nuclear Tigers on LAN. I'm still not really counting that WW team as a team. Like any other day, Nuclear Tigers should have been able to take them down. Maybe just a bad day. But look, Nuclear Tigers was talking to Flowser yesterday. He's saying they can go and win it all. He's definitely not lacking confidence, and I just want to see that kind of reflected in the server today.
Yeah. And I think there's no reason to doubt the fact that they can in fact win it all, because they have done it before. Not only have they done it once in the last season, they were also one of the first champions ever from the NODWIN Clutch series, which was in Series 2. So having already done it twice, I think running it back thrice would be a great way to have a little hat trick, and also just to sort of cement yourself as one of the most potent teams that we've ever seen at this caliber of play. And I keep talking about this caliber of play, but the truth is that they have recently been going above and beyond. Listen, I think if you're looking at the big picture, if you zoom out a little bit, you look at the VRS rankings, MOUZ is definitely one of the top teams, right? They very recently took down Spirit, which are currently ranked #1 in the world. And that's the team that Nuclear Tigers have been able to push to the edge. It was a 2-0 match the last time they played in Blast Bounty, but a 13-11 on Nuke, and that was MOUZ's map pick. That's inspiring quite the confidence, especially because they did it against a team that won the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I think, you know, that obviously is such a telltale sign, you know, that this Nuclear Tigers team are kind of heading in the right direction. And honestly, you know, that was one of the teams that I was kind of picking towards the end of last year, saying, you know, these guys are going to go on and do great things. Unfortunately, maybe didn't live up to the expectation, but, you know, they got an event. You know, they went to Blast Bounty. They didn't play, you know, bad whatsoever. They held their own, you know, on a map against MOUZ. That's really, really commendable for your first real test in a LAN environment, definitely at that level. So yeah, look, I'm excited to see, you know, online is their domain, NODWIN more specifically is their domain. Not only have they won a couple, but I think it's like 8 times out of the 9 times that they've played at this event, they've got into the playoffs, and they have something like 5 top 4 finishes at this event. So I'm really excited to see what they have on offer. But you know, a lot of people have been bigging up this CYBERSHOKE prospects team, man. You know, a lot of people have been talking about them, saying they've been playing some really solid CS, and saying that these are the, you know, the new kids on the block that are going to be the big up and comers. I just haven't got to witness it in the server just yet. But you know, they've got to see it green. They've only got 1 loss in their last 6 games. So and that was up against Entropy. But you know, a couple of the teams in there, they probably have a decent chance at beating. Here, I'm not really giving them many opportunities to take down a team like Nuclear Tigers. Definitely if they don't play their A game, but if Nuclear Tigers play the way that they did against Just Players, CYBERSHOKE prospects have chances in this series. Well, I believe, unfortunately, I think we lost Faraz. But hopefully he will be back in just a minute. He was actually saying that he was having some issues before we went live, literally just as we went live, so that's an absolute disaster. But yeah, look, I'm excited to see what this CYBERSHOKE Prospects team definitely do have. I just wonder, are they going to be as well, you know, versed up against a side like this? Because I'm scrolling through their last results, and you know, they haven't really played a team that is that high up. You know, maybe if you want to factor in the likes of a Gen 1, I still think Nuclear Tigers are a little bit of a step up. Definitely, you know, the 9 weeks ago Gen 1 team that they would have played, ex Ruby possibly, but kind of not really at the same time. A tough team to play against, definitely, but no, I wouldn't really place them on the same level as Nuclear Tigers. Look, I believe we might have a chance to check out the Veto and see what maps that we are going to be seeing today, just because CYBERSHOKE Prospects, from what I can see, they have a pretty solid and decent map. And oh, that's a wonderful picture of Faraz there that we brought up. Yeah, look, this is some on-the-fly stuff coming through from our producers, Shad, and I really do appreciate that. But as we have the video on screen, we've got Ancient, we've got Inferno, and we've got Cash Decider. Cash was something I was not expecting to see in this series. That's usually a permaban for CYBERSHOKE Prospects, so the fact that has been left in towards the tail end of it is really intriguing. I think CYBERSHOKE Prospects have decided to float it and said, you know what, maybe there'll probably be a mirage, but I think, you know, Nuclear Tigers kind of calling their bluff there a little bit to see if they can try and take them down. But the main map that I'm going to be looking towards is going to be map number 1. I'm really excited to see what Ancient has to bring, because Ancient was the breakthrough map that Nuclear Tigers were, you know, turning a lot of heads on when they kind of broke into the scene towards the tail end of 2025. Ancient was their go-to. They were extremely solid on it. Now, still a good map for them, but maybe not as solid as it used to be. So that's what I'm just looking forward to now, to see how the CYBERSHOKE Prospects team can match up with it, and this has always been a go-to for them. So we'll have a look and see what is going to be in store. T-side start for them, and it looks like it will be maybe a little bit of a classic pistol to kick things off. Decoy's going to go over alongside to maybe see if they can hear any tags. But it is just going to be this execute coming into fruition. Good defensive smoke being put down by the CTs, though. It's going to make it difficult to scale onto this bomb site, and it's extremely difficult even to get past the first couple of defenders. Sweeksy not able to get past anybody, as that was swatted away very easily by the Nuclear Tigers boys. Good stack over towards that B bomb site. CT pistol in their back pocket, and a really comfortable pistol to kind of get the ball rolling here, which is not ideal, I would say, for CYBERSHOKE Prospects, but very easily they could get back into things. Interesting decision to go for the force by round 2 without a bomb plant, and they're hoping to maybe catch the CTs by surprise. Maybe nobody over towards this A bomb site, but there is going to be a Yuki there. He peeks before that smoke blossoms, and he's able to pick off one. Still making it a little bit awkward, as this is now time being shaved off the clock, as the CTs are going to be trying to make their way in for maybe a late retake. It is going to be Dan on the site to maybe claim a couple of kills, but nothing more than that. Bomb plant, 1 kill will go their way, and Nuclear Tigers will be able to take round number 2. I believe Faraz might be back alongside me. We're good.
We are in fact good. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. Don't step under a ladder. I don't know. Are there any other superstition avoiding things we're supposed to do?
Don't break a mirror. I know that one.
I guess.
That's like 12 years of bad luck. Something like that.
12 years, that's like, damn, that's quite the power creep. I remember when I was young, it used to be like 2 years, and it crept up to 7. Damn.
Yeah, it's
Movie
crazy.
sensationalizing everything, even old superstitions. That being said, I think we should be good in the hood now. Nuclear Tigers 2-0 start is not really a huge statement or anything just yet, especially with CYBERSHOKE prospects actually doing a fair bit of damage on the previous round. Early Molotov coming through from Cave. Senka and Flowser are looking to go exploring, but you really don't want to rear your head at this inopportune time when there's 1,000 Tech 9 staring at you. That should be a good nade.
Oh.
About as juicy as it gets. See Twister's arrow light up fully in red.
Senka does go down though. They still actually stay on the boost even with the HE coming their way, and it nets them a kill. Now, there is a double HE that could go over towards long, but it's actually going to go cave side instead. Flowser boosted up on the box. That is just going to be perfect from him. Dan going to try and lead the way in. It's Diesel Bio though with a double Tech 9 kill that will at least get them control of a plant. This bomb will go down, but once this util begins to fade, it's going to be extremely difficult to hold on to this bomb site.
Yeah, Deslebio definitely needs to go big. He is the man that is often large and in charge. Squares trying to hold them down even longer. That flashbang is going to ensure that they've got more info, though. Smoke being set up also makes it difficult, but now the reroute's going to happen through ramp. Zika has already gotten the first kill. This is where you need to start considering sticking the bomb. They know where Deslebio is now, and he's a little bit off center, which means they might be able to stick the full 10 seconds. Deslebio now going to come in running, but Zika is a little too quick on the trigger. That gets scary, but not scary enough as the Tigers will still rule the jungle.
Not as scary as when I opened HLTV, seeing that we had CYBERSHOKE prospects and then tried to look at all the names on their team and going, oh my goodness, this is going to be an absolute nightmare just to try and pronounce everything. My goodness, like what about Dan? Like, are we just going to go with Dan? The Narmatora? Like...
Okay, so it's officially pronounced Daniel Armatora.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Is this one team that I haven't covered? And that's always like a thing between casters, right? Isn't it? Like, you know, one.
We'll do a little pronunciation check in just a second, or maybe you can just follow along as I keep covering them.
Yeah,
maybe I'll just leave you in the dark as a total, as a whole. But yeah, like the hard ones are just Deslebio, Daniel Armatora, Plain, Squez. There's no one on the other side that has difficult names, so that's chill. Daniel Armatora's name is so interesting because it was the first time I went on HLTV expecting no pronunciations to be listed, but there was. Like, cause you know how, like, there used to be a meme where HLTV will have pronunciations for the most basic names ever, like, oh, we've got a pronunciation for simple, but then you'll have someone like Deslebio and there's just no audio info there. But we're good now.
So I did, like, see, I even forgot about that feature because most of the time for the people that we're covering, it's just not there. So I just stopped looking for it, but this is actually just really big news. So
Huge. Even.
Massive.
Galactic.
Infinitely good news. Just never stops.
To the power of 10. Anyway, CYBERSHOKE prospects with the first one in the bin. That's still going to allow Nuclear Tigers to get away with a fair bit of money. That puts some wheels behind the rest of this round. Oh, wow. Lots of utility damage. Deslebio's also going to be finding a victim, but Ayuki is hot to the gun and has found 2 kills for himself. In the meantime, McHughes is mining for kills. As Quez and Plain are left alone, 1-2 on 3. There's a fair bit of space being taken on the secondary bomb site, but Plain is about to walk into what feels like certain death. Shadow's going to betray, allowed to get away with a freebie, and Plain even gets to reset. That is horrible news, especially with both players now having rotated over. Squez can start putting these numbers in, and as the digits transpire, so will the retake. They'll have to waste 10 seconds just getting into position, and it also allows CYBERSHOKE prospects to get real damn comfortable. Squez, though, might just be offering an isolated duel. Gets ducked into the corner. McHughes Does he go for the clearance? Shadow's going to betray, but Squez still wins. A Yuki, 1-on-2. There's so little HP. This is definitely within the realms of doability. He's going to put a quick tap on the bomb. Just wants to get some info on where that second player is, but Plane won't give him that luxury. CYBERSHOKE prospects, quick to the board.
Yeah, really good stuff. Interesting mid-fight that goes on. You'd think that, you know, Nuclear Tigers are coming away the victors there because they find a couple of kills, but that's a massive missed shot there from Zika. Just a little bit too difficult with the scope that he had. The swing was just a little bit too wide, and, you know, better off if actually a rifler was to take point there. Would have seen the shadow, would have been able to find that kill. That's probably a Nuclear Tigers round. Unfortunately, that doesn't play out, and we go heads up in towards mid once again. Flash is blinding everybody. Nobody can see a damn thing. But this time, it's going to be CYBERSHOKE prospects that will overcome everything. A couple of trades go back the other way. We're into a fair fight, but it's the T's with all the control for now.
I mean, the control might be there, but problem is they don't have any real path to pivot into a bomb site from there, so instead they're going to start to reel their resources back. They've got an outlet through over towards B, which is where Daniel Armatura will now start to shove a foot through the door. McHughes wants to try and catch him on the crossover. This is a really good idea. He is going to find information, but maybe overstays his welcome for a second or two. Daniel Matura is going to be the executioner. Senka and Zika, not the best of weapons. Daniel's still going to stick around and watch for the heaven play. And they're going to go super silent before that stick onto a bomb site happens. Try to chase him down with a nade, still not digested. And I do feel like CYBERSHOKE prospects might have made it a little too obvious now that they're going B.
Might not really matter though. Zika going down, Senka in towards Cave. A couple of low HP players though. If he manages to find the headshot onto Dan Armatura, then you've got big problems. CYBERSHOKE prospects, you know where he is now, but he's already picked off one. Senka needed to find that kill, usually so proficient with the SMG, but this time his attempt goes down in vain. And just a scrappy mid-round to kick things off as they want to try and take that control. And if we keep going that way about this game for us, if both sides want to fight that aggressively for mid, we're in for an absolute treat.
Yeah, I think so too. We're consistently seeing this get super hotly contested. And Nuclear Tigers, the defending champions, they're feeling quite pressured right now, aren't they, Zerfer?
Absolutely. You've now got little to no money. You had a decent enough lead, but it's been 3 rounds on the bounce now for the T's, and this is probably going to be 4. I mean, what do you do here if you've got the pistols, right? Util's going to begin to rain on in. Good one tap coming through from Dan Armatura. A little bit of damage being going through that smoke, but bomb plant will get down safely, and this Mac 10 of Twister Zaza could have an absolute field day.
Oh yeah, that is an easy cleanup, but a little bit of pushback being offered by McHughes, who will have no excuse not to go for it. That was just a deagle, just try and get a couple more eyeballs out, but that's a luxury that simply won't be offered up. CSP slowly starting to keep this train moving. They started off with the pistol round loss, and now they've very steadily been climbing up on the scoreboard. And, you know, this is a conversation we've had in the past here, Zerfer, where, you know, a lot of teams, they're going to be able to get all the laurels that you can rest on. They'll get the pistol round, they'll get the conversions, but when you look back, when you put rounds under a microscope, maybe the gun rounds just aren't happening. And so far, even though the scoreline looks good, CYBERSHOKE have been looking a lot better when weapons are involved from both parties.
Absolutely. I mean, there's literally only one winner, but even in the rounds that CYBERSHOKE prospects didn't have weapons out, I still think that they looked the better. You know, there was a couple of rounds in there where they were getting getting the bomb plants. You know, they didn't get it on the pistol, but they managed to get it in back-to-back rounds. And yeah, okay, Nuclear Tigers were able to come in and sweep a couple of post plants under the rug, but you know, right now, Nuclear Tigers' biggest problem is they're not really denying them from getting out onto any bomb site. It's going to be down to Zika to try and stop them here. This is fast pace, and he's going to try and give it up. Flowser, though, able to pick off one for free. Zika will knock down the next, and this is much better coming through from the Nuclear Tigers.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they don't jump the gun beyond that first couple of contacts. They're going to now start to wait for the bomb plant to materialize. They want to double up into Temple. And Danny Armatura will be able to expertly thread the needle between two and at least get a single kill before he falls. Still, the advantage for Nuclear Tigers, but this is a little bit more digestible for the prospects. Deslebio fully locked in on making sure that he can't come out of Temple. There's a big gaping hole that he can still get vision from, and that's both players down as Senka and Zika recover.
You mentioned it there. The key part of that was the fact that they were able to get the couple of kills but not overextend in towards the bomb site. Flowser good enough on the spam. Zika needed open the donut smoke, and they were able to pick off 2 for free. Really good job there, but the question has to be asked, if they don't find those kills, if they don't find the spam, if Zika doesn't get one with that AWP, CYBERSHOKE prospects are all over that bomb site, and maybe they can play a little bit more aggressive towards Donut. Maybe they can expend some more bodies in towards Temple to kind of get that control, and maybe that's a completely different round. So Nuclear Tigers, very fortunate that they find a couple of kills, but it was their own doing. They created their own luck in that scenario. Aggression coming through from the CTs as they go down to try and take all that B control. Senka trying to get out of there, and oh my goodness, so lucky to still be standing. Had to give it up, and McHughes will have to follow suit as the T's want to try and reclaim it.
The storm's going to settle for a bit. Both of these teams have been going neck and neck. A huge pace difference, as I don't think we've seen rounds really go down to the last 20 seconds too much. Always, especially not with all 5 players alive on both sides, but Zika will finally look for blood. The Vampire looking for more. McHughes, though, he's going to start to stop them at their doorstep, and as they try to barge through, they're just going to start dropping bodies. It's a 4-on-2. Twister is still trying to negotiate his way through, and that is 3 players down. Flowser cuts it down to just 1, though, but Plane has a monstrous opportunity here.
I mean, it's all about if you can find this kill. Senka's low HP, but man, that reposition is everything coming through there from Flowser. As finally we're seeing Nuclear Tigers pick up a head of steam on these gun rounds. They're finally getting their worth out of this CT side, and this is honestly very promising from them. I was speaking while you were disconnected earlier, you know, while you were sorting out a couple of your technical issues. Nuclear Tigers, this was their breakthrough map, if you remember, back in 2025. This was the map that they were so good at and so clean at, and I'm so happy that we get to see it this early on in the series, and it's not left up to a decider, and it's not disappointing, I can tell you that much for free. Aggression coming through from Senka, lovely opener, but he's going to go down. McHughes is going to follow suit, and that B bomb site open for business, especially if Ayuki's going to fall, which he will. Extremely clean coming through there from CYBERSHOKE prospects, but with that kill, are they going to be interested? That B bomb site open for business, especially if Ayuki's going to fall, which he will. Extremely clean coming through there from CYBERSHOKE prospects, but with that kill, are they going to be interested?
Not at all is the answer to your question. One of my concerns coming into this game was, could they stand tall to the individuals of Nuclear Tigers? Because I think Nuclear Tigers is a team that we've come to grow and love. They've always been a unit, yes, but they also have individuals that love bailing them out. Flauser was always counted as a bit of a mini donk, right? Coming in, like, Nuclear Tigers was one of the very few teams that would have a dedicated opper within this caliber of play that would consistently be making a difference. But if you compare that to CYBERSHOKE prospects, they've been able to stand quite tall. We've seen a really great triple from Twister that broke open a round early on, even if it doesn't materialize. Plane went massive in this previous one. Now Nuclear Tigers know that they are under a fair bit of pressure. This isn't a foregone conclusion. You would think that a team that has previously picked it up, previously picked up 2 of the championships, considering that they just beat a team, considering they got so close to beating a team that is currently ranked at number 3 in the world, you would think this would be a much easier affair, but not at all.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even watching them up against Just Players yesterday, like, there was a lot of mistakes kind of coming through. And, you know, when we were talking to Flauser afterwards, he was obviously confident. He was, you know, giving us a couple of answers, and he was just saying, you know, yeah, look, it is what it is. We didn't play our best. You know, we didn't really perform to our level, but we're still able to kind of get that result. And, you know, I wouldn't be overly concerned about it, but this is what I was saying, man. You know, that, like, CYBERSHOKE prospects are going to have chances in this game. They really, really are, because Nuclear Tigers, like, this is not the Nuclear Tigers that we've seen that were coming in and just not really losing a map on the way to booking their spot in the grand final here at the NODWIN. It just doesn't look like that. Post-player break, they just have not looked fantastic. Yes, obviously, you know, taking Maus the distance, you know, is a massive, massive result. But the next event that they went into, they lost to Echo twice, and yeah, they got a good result up against 100 Thieves. But other than that, like, that's all that they've played. So the fact that they've come back in post player break and only won 2 out of the 6 games that they played, granted one of them against Maus, but, you know, it's just not really looking like it was the Nuclear Tigers before, that were heading into the player break, that were going on, you know, streaks of 13-2 best of 3s. You know what I'm saying? This is just not that Nuclear Tigers, and I really do think that, you know, they haven't been playing an awful lot in that player break, and there's just a couple of kind of telltale signs that is definitely the case.
I wish I could boil it down to just that, but I also think the level of competition right now is insane. There are so many teams at this level that even with roster shuffles and things like that, just the baseline level of play we get is so damn high.
I mean, it is and it isn't. You know, like, there's quite a massive drop-off when you get, like, past, I would say, maybe 90th, maybe 100. Especially in Europe, you know, if you're looking at maybe like like 80th, but definitely like from 80th and above, you know, you're gonna have a tough game no matter who you're playing off against, and then, you know, it kind of comes into that stylistic matchup and stuff like that. But Nuclear Tigers have always been a tricky customer for everybody. B-pop coming through, and the CTs look to try and hold, continuing to face time and time again. Oh, madness. Beautiful counter util being put up by the CTs. No way in just yet. Squeeze, can he maybe get this bomb down after he finds that kill? It's looking likely, but look at McHughes.
Oh, McHughes is being given such a freebie there. You can't peek into 2 and not expect to get your insides ripped apart. CYBERSHOKE prospects, they're doing a pretty damn good job of keeping this tug of war going. And remember, their responsibility isn't to straight up win the half right now. They want to make sure that this little tango keeps going forward so that when they're in the CT side uniform, they can eventually come back. Of course, we get to see that lovely little 2-piece from McHughes in the replay, but let's be honest, that wasn't the highlight of the show. The highlight was how they were able to hold onto the site. Yuki and Senka teaming up to get a massive double as they started to come in. Nuclear Tigers now in pole position to perhaps get 7, but you can't exactly count CYBERSHOKE prospects out either, even if they do have a couple of lacking pieces of utility.
Senka's getting flashed in here. This could be absolutely perfect, and yeah, it will be. Finds that kill, and what I like is he doesn't overcommit. He drops that smoke, and he wants to try and get away, and it looks like he will be allowed to. They will not try and force that issue. They will now play safe with that man advantage.
Donut's about to be tested. Flauser, oh, he sees him. No, he quick switches away. What's going on? Ayuki needs to be the lifeline, and he is. Keeps the blood circulating for Nuclear Tigers. No refrag or entrance into A allowed. Squez has to walk the plank, inches away from drowning. That's it. I mean, he's just looking for any damn fights that he can get into, expecting there to be two. Tries to make it happen, but there is a double peak that awaits him. 7-5, Nuclear Tigers will certainly be satisfied with.
Look, I mean, you know, being 3-0 up and then not being able to, you know, stop CYBERSHOKE prospects from, you know, getting back into the game. Usually that's where you see Nuclear Tigers, you know, beat a team and kind of keep them down. You're actually seeing a tactical timeout being called in here for the pistol. Nuclear Tigers, that's a telltale sign that Nuclear Tigers are kind of worried about how this game has been going so far. And they know that, okay, if we win this pistol, if everybody shoots hard, get up onto a bomb site, win the pistol, win the conversions, they've got a real good shot at winning this one. Because, you know, if you're to look at the rest of this VO for us, like, you've got Inferno. Nuclear Tigers have only played it twice over the last 3 months. Yes, they won it against 100 Thieves and laughed, but, you know, they've only played it twice. One of them post player break, one of them pre-player break. And then you've got Cash, which both teams have never played. It seemed like such a risk to kind of go in the veto, but it's kind of Nuclear Tigers saying, you know what, if they're not going to ban it, we're not going to ban it. We're just going to, you know, leave it run and see what happens and have an absolute bang out on map 3. So for both of these sides, I would actually say Ancient is just massively, massively important, but more so for Nuclear Tigers, because I don't know if I'm so convinced on their Inferno just yet, just of sheer amount of reps and reps alone.
Yeah, they haven't looked bad, but of course we are kind of awaiting a sample size. That being said, A-Site's about to be on the agenda. Bomb plant should be taken with ease, even if McHughes is being quite significantly roughened up. Smoke's the only thing obscuring a fight. CYBERSHOKE prospects starting to circle the bomb site like sharks. Flashbang to usher them into Temple. Flauser will find a head. And they just can't seem to make a bit of a breakthrough happen. Flauser once again ready with the clothesline. You've got another nuisance, that's Zika, making sure that you can't even get close to Temple. And this is where Squez turns around and tries to find a way out. Certain death waits at every corner. And Squez now even getting this Kevlar away from this madness would be a huge luxury that I don't think he's going to be able to afford.
I think he would have been fine if he just dives into that corner there. Actually, I think he does survive. I don't think he'd take any damage if you just go directly in towards the corner from the bomb there. Yeah, regardless though, like, very, very good from Nuclear Tigers there. You know, they set out obviously with a game plan with that tactical timeout. They wanted to make sure that they had something that CYBERSHOKE prospects wouldn't be ready for, and post plan simply sublime. Investment coming through here though from CYBERSHOKE prospects straight away into an A bomb site stack. And Nuclear Tigers, they do have a tendency to kind of, you know, call back-to-back pistol and anti-eco rounds on the same bomb site. But CYBERSHOKE prospects are moving away here. This could be just another free round and possibly even a 5-man save if the CT player gets smoked off here.
Yeah, saving is probably the first thing you should have on the menu. They're still going to stick around just to make sure they can get a couple of weapons out of their hands. Any upgrades to the AK-47 is, I think, a worthwhile thing to risk your life for. But other than that, being able to have another shot, another crack at playing this force by just saving everything is probably the right move. 9 rounds pretty much guaranteed for Nuclear Tigers now. I just fear what's going to happen to CyberShoke prospects if they can't get their own map pick under the radar, though. Like, this is supposed to be their bread and butter. This is supposed to be some of the best performances we can ever see from them here, so... A 70% win rate, some of the better opponents that they've had to face against has been on Ancient. Nuclear Tigers, on the other hand, dragging CyberShoke out into the mud when they pick Inferno, since that's something that has been a little murky for Nuclear Tigers as well. We've already mentioned in terms of the reps. Mid control's the name of the game, and they will start bringing their resources together. Twister doesn't need to get a second frag because Plane is there as the backup policy, and this is what I was talking about when I said another crack at the force buy. Now there's a very real possibility that this turns into something good for CyberShoke. Twister has the right idea, just can't close out the kill though, and that was so damn important to keep them in the game.
He finds that kill. It's a completely different round. Now you're split on the defense, right? You're 1 on A, 1 on B. Nuclear Tigers really have just free roam of the map, bar the bomb sites, and it's not really going to take much. All it is really going to take is just a trade to kind of get in here. So despite this already being a pretty solid round and a lot of decent damage, it's still looking like this could be Nuclear Tigers pretty straightforward, picking up a 10th, and it will be. They'll keep 3 players alive. They'll earn a lot of money as well. The bank account's looking healthy on that T side, and CyberShoke prospects, now this is the time that we have to see them come alive. If they don't, I fear their map pick could already be over and done with, which would be such a disappointment considering how competitive that first half was.
Yeah, not even being given many chances is a rough way to go out on the CT side, but this is where they need to create their own chances. My goodness, Flauser reduces those chances to pretty much 0 in this round, but Squez is desperately trying to squeeze a drop of possibility out of this one. Nuclear Tigers, as the rotations start happening from CyberShoke over towards A, even Deslebio's willing to pull the plug. And this stack is quickly going to transpire into an empty bomb site that the Tigers will have no trouble resting in. The den seems clear. That's one of the worst mollies I've ever seen, and
I don't know, man.
That still isn't going to phase him.
It's definitely not the worst piece of util that was even thrown in this round. They missed the deep elbow smoke. So that's the only reason that Flauser was able to hold the line there and pick up that double kill. That is a time, definitely, to miss that smoke. When you're going for that aggressive play, when you're going to try and take that control, that's just an absolute no-no. Not up against a team like Nuclear Tigers. That is such an absolute disaster, because if that smoke's there, Flauser can't hold, and that aggressive play through mid might work. They have a smoke on the close molly. They will get into position maybe to deny that pop out towards mid, and it's a completely different round. But the writing was on the wall pretty much in the first 20 seconds, and this is going to be number 11 for Nuclear Tigers, only 2 away from snatching away CyberShoke prospects map pick. But at least you're going to have another roll of the dice. You're going to have another crack at a whip here with a purchase, with the saved weapons. Drop everything over, buy up everything that you can, and make sure that you do not miss that elbow smoke.
Okay, I think
it landed.
It's
fine.
Yeah. I actually think that the default elbow smoke they throw might be a little too far forward to be annoying for the T's. Like, kind of lets the smoke fade out of your eyes as you're actually taking the red room fight. Like, look at how deep that is, right? You can get tucked into the elbow without being too annoyed. Playing into the corner, though, that had to be a double kill. Leaves the B bomb site relatively abandoned. Now, Flowser is going to have to be that X factor. I highly doubt they're going to take an extra looky-loo towards red room, and while the crux of the action's happening on B, Flowser is getting ready to sink his fangs into their bodies. Becomes that secondary element. Ayuki will jump the gun, take advantage of the chaos that's happening in the back lines. Deslebio, though, is desperately looking for a way in. There's so much damage being inflicted on the Tigers. Despite a great flank, this is becoming a possible hold, and they're just going to stick it. There's no reason for Twister to get off the bomb, and that is a huge fumble from Tigers.
Yeah, they had everything, but nobody peeking to try and get him off the defuse. I just wonder, actually, what Twister even saw out through mid, because at mid, he checked in towards the red room. It looked like he was looking at Flowser on the flank, but just didn't comment, maybe didn't see him. I'm not so sure what actually happened, because we weren't on him, but, you know, I could have sworn he was going to be able to spot him in towards red room. I know Flowser's pathing was over the left-hand side. Maybe it got a little bit weird, but on the minimap, it really did look like Twister was looking at him. So that's a little bit confusing to me that he didn't manage to spot him, but luckily you are still able to pick up a 6th round there, because that really would have been, you know, back-to-back massive errors that really would have just put Nuclear Tigers in the driver's seat, as if they weren't already, but just would have put them up onto map point and just an impossible road back to drawing out an OT in this one. But now at least you stay alive. Problem is, you're going to have to be perfect time and time again. You need to hope that you're going to be able to reset the economy, but the T's money looking fine. That's a good pick though. Over towards heaven, but still the T's are looking to commit in towards this B bomb site. However, they're smoked off, and this time they're not going to risk it. This time they're not going through the smoke, because they probably know Plane should have got away with 2 in the previous round.
Any lifelines that you can get, you need to capitalize on them. Beautiful set of utility, and the follow-up fight. Zanya Armatura, that's a 2-piece for him. Zika is being made uncomfortable in all sorts of different ways. Is going to try and take initiative, though, but Deslebio, of course, awaits. A poke through the smoke is going to be Senka's demise, as he has looked the other way. The bomb being in his possession matters no more. Esquez will be able to put the final pinch on him. 11-7 is not a bad scoreline to be at, as CYBERSHOKE are slowly working their way back into the game.
Yeah, and look, this is going to be the last purchase that Nuclear Tigers have for a hot minute, so this is a perfect opportunity to win this swing round and kind of get back into this game. If you're CYBERSHOKE prospects, Nuclear Tigers, that's the whole reason that they're going for a tactical timeout here. Just to have everybody know what they're doing on this strat. They know this is the difference between closing this map out cleanly and being drawn into a game and possibly maybe even losing the map. So have their wits about them. Senka on his trusty Mac 10. Ever so dangerous. I've never seen a player just so good on the SMGs that, you know, that's his go-to weapon. It isn't an AK, it isn't an M4, you know, it's an SMG, MP9, Mac 10. This guy is just absolutely ridiculous, but a dream really for players playing around him. Plenty of drops going their way and plenty of drop bodies by Deslebio over towards heaven. Spam through that smoke is just absolutely perfect. So clean. He picks up those kills, and Nuclear Tigers on the back foot of a must-win round.
The scoreline's a lot closer than it might look like on the grand scoreboard. Nuclear Tigers, they try and have a second approach through the B doors, but a smoke awaits them, and so do 2 barrels. It's just going to be Deslebio and a body watching for it. Twister still trying to keep a finger on the pulse over towards that primary bomb site. Lane watching for the smoke pop. They also have missing information around middle. Another smoke being deployed by CYBERSHOKE has suddenly made this such a tricky round, especially because you've got one flashbang. They need to set it up alongside Zika if they want to pull through, and that's what they're going to go for. Oh my goodness, you guys are so annoying. Another piece of utility. And with 25 seconds to go, they've pulled the plug. Like, what are you supposed to do?
I mean, right, the save isn't horrible here from these three players specifically. So McHughes can buy, because there's 2,400 going into his bank account, so he's fine. Senka can just bring out an SMG. Flauser can buy up a little bit more util as well. This is actually still going to be an okay result. Yeah, okay, look, Nuclear Tigers wanted to win that round. Like, they can still invest here. This is still going to be pretty dangerous. That was not the swing round that we thought it was actually going to play out to be. So CYBERSHOKE prospects need to have their wits about them again. Look, step one in the right direction. They're now only 3 behind. That's absolutely massive. But
yeah,
they were hoping to win that just a little bit cleaner, take a couple more players down. So this investment wasn't a possibility.
Yeah, also, like, people keep forgetting that Senka has more kills with the MAC-10 and MP9 on HLTV than he does with actual rifles, so he's right where he wants to be, like, with a MAC-10 or below. He just genuinely does not care. As close to a full buy as he can possibly get. Nuclear Tigers, they're not running into any early fights. You've got a bit of a double setup from CYBERSHOKE prospects, just trying to keep a finger on the pulse in cave. A very removed setup from A. You're definitely hinging a lot on the donut player to be able to hold down the line. Obviously, there is an AWP setup at long range to catch them as they try to get into A, but it also allows for a fast rotation. Nuclear Tigers have no intention of going to A for now, though. They're simply huddling around this ramp. But by the looks of things, if they decide to go here, there's so much waiting for them. Does Levio at a slight disadvantage in this duel, I believe, as Zeke is going to have the right side corner. Tech9 to try and swing forward. Zeke is now set up with the AWP, but they just can't get past the two-man setup. Flauser, however, in the meantime, is trying to create some pressure into ramp. Now, does Lebio's forced to peek? Zika will execute, and suddenly that save has turned into the sauce that's required for the next round.
How sweet that sauce is for Nuclear Tigers. You know, they really good job from that cave setup from the CTs initially, but it's worth absolutely nothing because their B defenders and their the rotator in and the B defender weren't able to stop them coming up. Once that happens, you're just in so much danger. You're gonna be pinched no matter what. Like, if you're able to hold on to cave and your B defenders are able to maybe pick up a kill and kind of get traded out, then you've got a chance at it. But Nuclear Tigers extremely clean when they needed to be, and maybe that save really has just saved them from a scrappy finish to this game. Still though, CYBERSHOKE prospects have another purchase available to them. They should have everything that they need. They've got the AWP, they've even got an AK saved on Twister's era. Playing goodbye for himself. And it still should be happy days. Should have a buyout for the rest of this game, CYBERSHOKE prospects. But now it has to be convincing. Now it has to be 4 rounds in a row. And unfortunately, it is now or never on their map pick. It is so tense. It is so tense right now. How passive the CTs are being here. 3 on B, 2 on A. They're giving up mid with just the upper holding to see if they're going to cross in towards the red room. But they can get smoked off, and that's going to be the big problem. That's exactly what happens. It will be that kind of late mid-take. I don't know if they're going to even try and commit to go out here. Bit of pressure on McHughes. He could go down, but that's just going to spring the A play into action, especially if he falls now.
He's about to be progressed upon. Daniel Armatura is looking towards Donuts. Quez is not ready either. Ayuki's timing is great. allowed to retreat is Quez, and Deslevio in the meantime will also create issues with the AUG. Flauser, however, has now brought it back to a 2-on-2. Get this bomb down. Deslevio will be forced out in the open, forced to take the fight. That's Zika taking one down. Twister needs to come in as soon as possible. Has been creeping all the way. Interrupts the bomb plant. There's not much you can do. Just trying to tap the bomb. Another swing from Twister. And you don't need to press this any further. Twister with a massive 1v2 without both kills needed.
Absolutely huge from him. He knew that the timing was available there for him, and he is the saving grace because everybody else was failing over towards that A-bomb site. Yeah, the AUG finds a kill, the AUG gets one more, but once it gets down into the 2vx situation for Nuclear Tigers, that's where they start playing. That's where they start hammering headshots left and right. Luckily, Twister had that flank on in his favour. Still though, Nuclear Tigers, look at this. This is going to be a fast play in towards the A-bomb site. They are respecting this not at all. They heard all that util in towards mid. They're already out. They've already got a donut smoking. Look at Flauser.
Oh my
He's
gosh,
already deep in
so
towards
dead.
Temple. I had no idea that he was already that close. An easy pick off, site control, and surely a bomb plant next.
Timing couldn't be any better for Nuclear Tigers. They totally ignore all that middle utility, go straight into A. They expedite their push, and now Twister's going to do the same. Start to take off bodies. Yuki's response is pretty swift, though, and Twister just cannot seem to get any footing onto the site. Now, you've got two players stuck in a donut. Zika's watching it like a hawk, and you just can't cross over to get this plant down. However, this smoke might end up working in the favor of the T's a little bit, even if Deslevio is just trying to get a foot through the door. There's a tiny gap that he can exploit, and if he can just move past it, suddenly you have space behind the T's, but this is being watched. The AWP trained on the angle, back spotted as you go exploring, as you look into Temple. Zika's there. A snapshot. Daniel Armatura, 1-on-3, has been able to create problems for the Opper, and even has an upgrade at the ready. 30 seconds to go. He's trying to take another position. Nuclear Tigers still need to gut the bomb down, and they will with ease. But Dania has a world where this is doable, but not in front of Flauser. 13-9, as CYBERSHOKE will be dealt with on their own map pick.
Yeah, really good stuff towards the end of it there from CYBERSHOKE prospects to kind of come back into the game, but it really kind of pivoted and tilted this series on how clean Nuclear Tigers were kicking off in that second half on their T side. Some really good calls coming in through there from Senka, and they really did unfortunately just run CYBERSHOKE prospects ragged. Really impressive performance from the usual suspects on the side of Nuclear Tigers, the likes of Zika, the likes of Flauser. Even a Yuki was popping up with some massive moments in multi-kills, but it just felt like on the rounds that Nuclear Tigers should have been broken, and there should have been a bounce back for CYBERSHOKE prospects towards the kind of tail end of that one. They just weren't able to get those swing rounds back in their favor, and it was down to, of course, a couple of the decisions that Nuclear Tigers decided to make with the saves, bringing the rifles in, putting Senka on an SMG or a TAC-9, and, being able to have a purchase. That's really what caused CYBERSHOKE prospects just so many problems. And then even towards the end, just the calm, cool decisions in those kind of sticky situations, you were just seeing the level above that Nuclear Tigers do have.
Yeah, and I think heading into the next map, there needs to be a colossal effort from CYBERSHOKE prospects to not be making any of those tinier mistakes. Very clearly, Nuclear Tigers have been able to exploit things like rotations and the small details, which I do think are going to be even more important on a map like Inferno. Now, CYBERSHOKE, they do have 10 minutes to get their game plan sorted, but when we are back, you're going to have a hell of a mountain to try and take things away from the defending champion. We'll see you then. There might have been some hiccups in the first half, but Nuclear Tigers did not show any signs of slowing down in half number 2 of map number 1. And going into Inferno, there's a lot up their sleeve, because I know we've had that conversation about how we don't really have a huge sample size, and we haven't really seen them too much in the past, but that almost feels a little bit more scary than having a sample size that we can rely on sometimes, because CYBERSHOKE don't have a lot of data to prep on.
Yeah, they don't really, know what they're getting into. Obviously, they would have watched probably the demos of the 2 maps that they played, up against 100 Thieves, up against Laft. But you're probably looking at that, especially as a young team, and going, these guys, like, they absolutely dismantled 100 Thieves on this map, and they destroyed Laft, like 13-1, 13-7. It's not like they were close games. They were really, really dominant from start to finish. So maybe this is just like the new trick up Nuclear Tigers' sleeve, that they are just going to be, playing Inferno a hell of a lot more. But what is probably going for CYBERSHOKE prospects is the fact that young teams always have, like, almost too much confidence at times. Like, it doesn't really matter who they're playing up against. They will just go and try and have a bang out in any server. Like, they will just go, they'll take fights, they'll take game duels, they won't play scared, which honestly could do CYBERSHOKE prospects a lot of favors. But at the same time, you're coming up against Nuclear Tigers. Like, they're not like an old team. Like, Nuclear Tigers are probably CYBERSHOKE prospects maybe 6 months down the line. Yeah. Like, it was 6 months before that. Like, Nuclear Tigers were this team that were the hot prospect. They were the the new team on the block that were coming and making a name for themselves. So I still really think this is going to be an intriguing map number 2, but it doesn't instill me full of a lot of confidence, the fact that CYBERSHOKE prospects don't take their map pick. Nuclear Tigers are able to best them, and the fact that how convincing Nuclear Tigers have looked on this map, even if it is only twice.
Yeah, and the few times we've seen them play it, CYBERSHOKE prospects, they got destroyed by Bench Gauze, they got beaten by G2 Ares. There have been a couple of wins in there, but I'm not too impressed by any of those wins. Like, that win against Dark Moon, like, that's not a particularly established team. You go even further back, like, those results just become irrelevant. So realistically, if we are talking about Inferno having a low sample size, I guess you can say the same for CYBERSHOKE prospects. There's no recent results. There aren't any results that inspire confidence that have been played in the past couple of months, especially not after the player break. So I still think that they're on about even territory with regards to how prepped they should be on Inferno. And while we're on that subject, I think I would even go as far as to say the Nuclear Tigers are maybe a step above.
Oh, 100%. That was the one concern that I had, even with how good they looked in this event. Like, how good they looked, coming in 3-0 in the Swiss stage, beating WW in the playoffs. They haven't really beaten anybody on this level, and it's no surprise, because usually teams of this level only enter in the playoff stage. But the fact that you come in up against WW, who, you're playing up against Deco, that's all you're really playing with. You can deal with Deco, no problem. You're going to be able to beat WW. Nuclear Tigers, that's a different ball game, and this is probably the best team that CYBERSHOKE prospects have faced since they've become a team. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I'd love to be shocked here. A map 3 on Cash would be magical, just because both teams have never played it. So it's always just exciting going into the unknown like that. But I still feel Nuclear Tigers should have this one in the bag. Side start for them, pistol to get underway, and they've been perfect on them so far.
A site's on the agenda. The plane is feeling a hell of a lot of heat. Daniel Matura, though, from the site, is able to bring down the numbers by only 1. Had he gotten a second there, Damnedest, they also have to worry about a flank that's eventually going to brew, but temporarily this is going to be a 3v3 on the site.
Yeah, so for the minute, you actually have an even fight. Issue is, you can see Senka's already beginning to move. So he has put them on a timer, whether they realize it or not. And the longer they take, Senka will begin to move into action, be able to pick off one from behind. They do manage to pick up one kill, but Twister now is going to have to try and get out of there. If he's even allowed to. He's getting ran down by Zika and Ayuki as they're looking to get another kill added to their tally, which they will be able to do. Nuclear Tigers take the T-pistol under their wing, and no surprise, CYBERSHOKE prospect able to go for a force bite. Some of the parts of the map, but CYBERSHOKE prospects, they are that kind of team that love to go for just a second round force bite, regardless of if they even get a bomb plant, even when they're on T side. So no shocker in store there. Nuclear Tigers should be very, very aware of this.
I do like the fact that in modern CS we have a little bit of like an always creates for some entertaining moments. Now, speaking of entertainment, Lebio and Twister won't be too enticed by what just happened to him. There's another nade about to come through. I like the fact that Nuclear Tigers are cognizant of the fact that if they have bought into the round, they're probably going to be playing some kind of boost setup. And this double boost is already so weak. You get a couple of bullets into the body of Lebio. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Twister's crosshair is just all over the place because of that first kill. Even though he did a pretty good job at avoiding the flashbang, if the footstool under you just gets rug pulled, then what can you do?
Yeah, bottom pull. The ball goes down, you're just falling. Bad news for you. Like you are just gonna be. Well, old 3D Max player. Look, you save the SMG, you save the 5.7, but it doesn't really have a lot of bite to the bark, does it? Another clean one from Nuclear Tigers. You know, they've only had a couple of casualties so far in this game. That money is going to be looking very promising going into probably the first gun round with a little bit of a bonus as well. You would imagine that they won't lose so many bodies here in a round like this. It's CYBERSHOKE prospects' job to make this as expensive as possible, and it is still a scary round. Like, there is still a couple of repurchases with armor and a couple of pistols being dropped over now as well, so they are actually going to try and turn up the heat and turn up the pace here. McGusto will put Twister in the dirt. HE lands perfectly as Senka will get his kill, and that's to be bomb site open for business if the Nuclear Tigers believe that there's going to be nobody else there.
Just a leisurely walk in the park for Nuclear Tigers so far. Ever since the pistol, they haven't really had to move too much of a muscle. If you look at their death count, like, they've lost 2 players in 3 rounds. Maybe this 5-7 can find another one. That's a missed opportunity. Squez, I think he should have just pulled the trigger when he had the chance, but still hopeful that he can maybe do some extra damage. Oh, that's when you turn the corner. This is a horror movie. This is so much suspense, a bit of a thriller. All that for 1 kill, by the way. Oh, no.
He didn't even get the kill.
Walking simulator.
No. Yeah.
He had a kit, by the way. I think he was just thinking, hey, like, maybe if I can just keep a player on a leash, follow them around, make it into the site. It was far-fetched against 5, but always love a good try. CyberShoke prospects, though, finally will be populating their inventories with actual weapons.
Yeah, and that kind of bonus round does come true from Nuclear Tigers. You got 3 Galil still in the mix. You got Senka on an MP9, so you would imagine maybe something a little bit faster paced. And it looks like they are going very quickly up middle. Now, they have thrown Util towards Banana just to keep the B players occupied, but here's the fast play through brackets, and they begin to wrap over through long. Util not yet put down as the Galils look to try and take a fight, but that's a great defensive smoke. CT's actually getting that smoke down over towards Moto is huge. Senka gets picked off from the apartments, and unfortunately for Nuclear Tigers, they don't really have anywhere to go until that smoke fades.
Daniel Matura unable to hold on much longer, and Squez in a very awkward spot. An attempt to try and creep through the smoke will be met in kind. And now there's Lebio. As much as he wants to try and get close to a weapon and pick it up on the way out, it just doesn't happen. I would have really liked it if Daniel Armatura just prioritized trying to stay alive, especially because he had Squez in the back pocket. Like, you've got your AWP stuck in apartments. There's kind of no way for them to come into the site. But I do think maybe that extension was a little bit uncalled for, and now the Tigers are well on their way to maybe even picking up 5 rounds without having to fight too much.
It's so surprising how poor that hold was. Like, they get that smoke down towards Moto. You're thinking, okay, this actually could be a pretty decent hold. They were all in pretty good positions, and they found the opening pick. And then still it just completely falls apart because of little over-aggressions, push past smokes and big problems. Is Plane going through this, or is he just going to walk short side? Okay, short side. I thought he was maybe getting a little bit risky. I say a little bit. He was getting way too risky if he walks down past that mid-smoke. But stranger things have happened. We've seen stranger things on the broadcast, definitely. But yeah, I'm right there with you. So far, it just feels like a formality for Nuclear Tigers. Doesn't really feel like they've been pressured all that much. Feels like they're completely in control. But they're going to have to work it out for them here shortly. They're walking into an A-stack. Twister, though, could be isolated very quick.
Timing is everything. Senka's particularly annoying to deal with, though, as he's always able to pave the way with a MAC-10. No duels go the way of the CTs, and that is so disappointing to see. Deslevia just turns, by the way. Like, he does not want any of that smoke. Instead, goes all the way back up Banana. And right now, the defending champions are looking like a whole different league. The CyberShoke aren't ready for it.
I mean, do you blame him for tucking tail and running? Look what happened to his mates on A. They just got absolutely destroyed. They barely even did any damage. They have got destroyed by that bracket hole. But you can see how aware Nuclear Tigers were that was a possibility of the setup being there. Does Zebio? Okay. Doesn't have a kit. But Senka's going to come back to have a look. Desabio does actually manage to pick up his first kill of the map, but instantly gets taken down. And it's only Senka who dies. So that's actually okay, because Senka only had an SMG. He always only has an SMG, so you don't even have that going for you, where you can say, oh, well, I took away an AK. Well, I took away an AWP. No, you took away an SMG. It's, it is what it is. But yeah, look, across the board, you're even seeing how bad it has been for the individuals on the side of CyberShoke prospects. Squeeze got 3 kills. Everybody else is 1 or below. And the 4 players adding up to 2 kills, bar Squeeze, 5 rounds in. That's a problem that needs to change quickly, but Squeeze continuing to lead the way. That AWP connects onto Yuki. That's a good opening pick. Oh, triple nade towards the sandbags. No. How is Desabio still standing?
No way.
Tries to get aggressive, but McHughes eventually will finish what himself and his teammates started.
These nades might not always work, but the fact that there is just this level of conditioning being offered that CyberShoke don't feel comfortable in staying on one angle, that's what really matters. Like, you now have a position where they might not want to play sandbag ever again. They're really uncomfortable playing the boost spot because Nuclear Tigers are super comfortable with saving their nades entirely and always just launching one big orbital strike. It's got to make them uncomfortable. especially with Inferno being a map where a bunch of gimmicks, a little bit of tactics, those things tend to work out. You need to play a lot of one-off spots, which Nuclear Tigers are super happy to nade. Up next, an Apps play being foiled by Danya Armatura, who didn't really look the best in that second peek. Qs and Zika have at least gained access to the site, and they are going to try their damnedest to hold on to it. The smoke actually offers a little bit of cover to the pit player, but Squez is trying to find the smallest sliver that he can to try and negotiate his way back in. And McHughes out in the open looking for a frag, but Squez has been an absolute game changer in this round.
And Dan Armatura just finally coming to life there. He had to do everything and more towards that A bomb site, because I was extremely worried the way that the T's were pivoting. They over-rotated massively. They left him solo on the site. The fact that he gets away with 2 kills there and stays alive for as long as he did, it allows his teammates to get into position for that retake. And Squeeze isn't really messing around, is he? That AWP is hitting some very, very nice shots. That's exactly what you need, but yeah, I need to see a little bit more from the riflers. I'm gonna start nitpicking right now. I need to see Twister playing, and even Deslebio kind of come online a little bit. Stan Armatura has to kind of keep it up, and again, look at the util barrage in towards Sandbags. Just Twister dead. Like, there's nothing that he can do, and that's back-to-back rounds now that you've utiled that heavily. Something that you were alluding to and talking about. They're not going to want to play there anymore. Flash coming through. They're going past this smoke. This could go horribly wrong. And it has. That seemed extremely risky coming through from the Tigers. And rightly so, they do get punished.
There needed to be a change. Someone had to try and put a stoppage to their pace, and now Deslebio and Squez have absolutely stepped up. Even if Plane is nowhere to be found, even if Twister Zalda has not made his mark on the scoreboard even, someone needs to get the ball rolling, and they're doing a good job at that. Zeke is not too worried about them picking up his AWP because they already have one of their own. But right now, it's all about whether or not you can do some extra damage. Zika watching the back of Banana. He's looking for a way out, but most importantly, just trying to protect himself. One of the worst outcomes here could be if he doesn't survive with money. Now, obviously, there's plenty in the tank, but you still don't want to keep kicking your economy. And I think this warning shot's actually going to be enough. It's not worth it to try and get his AWP out of his hands, and the price would be to lose all of your own money if you fail. But they're still going to give it a crack. Deslebio, a quad to finish off the round. And ZK even gets the luxury of dying before time expires.
Yeah, I feel that's just a little bit rushed from Nuclear Tigers. Don't feel like they had to make a play like that to try and go past. I understand that they find the kill and they want to try and pounce on a solo B defender, but rotates have been so quick. I suppose maybe CYBERSHOKE prospects haven't quite realized that, or Nuclear Tigers haven't realized how quick CYBERSHOKE prospects were actually rotating away because they didn't see it in the previous round. But Senka now might be figuring out that if they're able to put pressure on a bomb site and find a kill, that like the CTs will over rotate, and that could be something that they could take advantage of with the lurks that they have over towards that A bomb site. That is something that definitely kind of goes against them there, and it looks a little bit silly. Kind of gives a lot of confidence, definitely, to Deslebio, who was having a rough enough game. But a 4K kind of brings him back into the swing of things, and now, as we wait for Senka to rejoin, we will see a purchase up once again from Nuclear Tigers, because the money is simply fantastic for them. And should be good for the next couple at least, including this one. As CYBERSHOKE prospects, again, it feels like it is the kind of the shades of Ancient, right, where they can never like break the economy of Nuclear Tigers, especially in that second half. And that's really kind of what went against them, was the fact that Nuclear Tigers were able to build up such a bank balance that CyberShoke prospects were having to win these gun round after gun round after gun round to just even get back into the game. And it's just such a very difficult way to have to play out your CT sides. And especially with how hard the T side are hitting right now. But push down mid, that's absolutely perfect. 2 kills to the good. Twister needs to lock that one in, and he will be able to do it. Senka will go down, playing looking for one more. It's a complete shutdown in this round.
Total bloodbath, and I love the response from CyberShoke prospects. They realize that if they keep playing static, all that's going to happen is they keep getting hit by nade stacks, they keep getting hit by utility, they keep getting hit by all these surprise players where Senka ushers them into a bomb site with a Mac 10, and it's just really difficult to sort of manage your crosshair when a team is this hard, this fast, and willing to expend all their utility in the first 20 to 30 seconds. It is just the right adjustments that have been made. A Yuki picked off by the USB of Squez. And now CyberShoke prospects might be making a real argument. They seem to have cracked the code of a nuclear Tigers that have been so damn good at conditioning.
Tigers are going to be pretty disappointed if they finish up this T-half in 5 rounds. And look at that util barrage again. This time from the CTs though. Senka feeling the effects of it, and McHugh's going to go down. He just gets spammed straight through that smoke. T's are going to try and come through and fight here. Flauser finds that kill. Twister still the unknown beside the half wall. But this smoke is only going to be up for a limited time, and Zika's not even going to wait it out. He's just going to spam him down through it. A kill to the good, but a lot of players, the walking wounded right now, going into this B bomb site. We're playing. If he hits the right shots, everybody could fall. Stops the first in his tracks. They need to find a trade, and they need to find it quickly, and they will be able to do it. Flauser, the battering ram that Nuclear Tigers need to get them back into the bomb sites.
If that nade was any more useful, there were 2 potential players that were unhealthy enough to die to it. Danny Armatura, this is a big duel though. That is Flauser out. He's one of the heavier hitters, even if he looked unhealthy there. Zika, a Yuki, desperate to try and hold on to this. The AWP from Squez makes the duels a little bit awkward, but Zika in the back of the bomb site is still an unknown entity. Squez tries to slowly inch forwards, but Tigers already have this one under lock and key.
Really unfortunate there. Zika's able to find that spam, but I mean, what was Twister meant to do? He made his decision pretty early on. He couldn't go back because of the spam that was going up Banana, and eventually just spotted out. But you're seeing a pretty clear weakness over towards that B bomb site. Surprised that we haven't actually seen just more of 3-men starts over towards Banana just to try and take control of it, because Senka's just having a field there running up, and you know, yeah, he eats a lot of util there, but it's the fact that they eat all the util, they lose a player initially, and they're still able to walk up Banana, take all that control, and take the round off it as well. This is something that the CTs really need to adjust to quickly, because if you are losing that Banana fight more often than not, you will lose the B bomb site, and you will lose this first half.
The financial duress of losing a round now for CyberShoke prospects will certainly be too much to swallow. This next round, this one needs to be pristine. Senka's just trying to pull some attention away. It's going to initially look like a fake, but it is in fact a double fake. They're going to start to commit to the B bomb site. Plane is now rerouting again. And this is a duel that matters. Because Twister is able to delay for a little while longer, that's going to allow the rotations to happen. It should be easy pickings for Twister, and Plane is just a part of the puzzle that ends up working well. CYBERSHOKE, decent hold, and not too faked out.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that hold was actually that clean. Was not expecting that to happen, and maybe that's the key, right? Just let them have banana control, let them, you know, just take it, hope that they don't pop on you quickly, dump a little bit of util early on to try and slow them down, and then just back away from play from the bomb site. That's exactly what they're going to do in this round. Util's going to get dropped over by an A player as they, you can see playing is now rotating away. He's just left his molly and a smoke over B side so they can continue just to refresh the smokes if they feel any more pressure. This could be a winning formula. That is not going to be a winning formula though. Squeeze gets taken down so fast. Double peek in towards the apartments, and there's an AWP for a Yuki to wield for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zika tries to get his hands on it.
A site has as many resources as you can reasonably put to it. But they're still torn in between rotations, and as the library player is going away, this is where the pressure will start to surmount. They know that Daniel Armatura has consistently been playing the same spot. Yuki's quick to find that second frag as well. And as Lebio, although he can find a tiny gap in the smoke, Flauser is quick to catch. And that leaves Twister reeling from the losses all the way on the B bomb site. And he knows he can't even pursue this because he's one of the wealthiest players on the team and needs to keep this M4 alive.
It's just the pace of those rounds though, isn't it? That's just an absolute killer for CYBERSHOKE prospects. It's the fact that when they actually fully commit to the site pops, especially towards that A bomb site, it's the pace that they're going, but also the spacing that they have between each other, that if one player is going to go down, they're going to find a trade. But even just the entries are just so proficient. They are prolific. Just waltzing into that A bomb site and simply nothing that the A defenders can do there. Now, you got big problems on the horizon because you've been winning a couple of rounds. Money is not going to be fantastic. Yeah, this saved M4 is maybe going to help things, but you're still going to have a couple of players without a gun. Definitely without an M4. And Nuclear Tigers really have just set themselves up nicely to secure 80 rounds possibly. This is decision time really for CYBERSHOKE prospects. And I'm really shocked as well, by the way, that we haven't seen many tactical timeouts called in from CYBERSHOKE prospects. The fact that, you know, in a round like this, they don't want to have a discussion of what they want to do. It's really all been Nuclear Tigers on map 1. That's the only real time that we've seen a couple of tactical timeouts going their way. And it just feels just a little bit silly that the young guns won't take their time.
What am I even watching? Just jumping about. The silliest fight in the world. And with the first frag found, there's no reason to rush it any longer. Nuclear Tigers know that the longer they let this particular stew cook, the more likely it is that CYBERSHOKE prospects are going to go hunting, maybe find themselves in the wrong positions. All that Nuclear Tigers need to do is just hold on to the extremities and not lose their numbers. But you also can't give up information entirely. In the last round of the half, Senka goes for the unorthodox play of actually buying a rifle when he's so damn used to MAC-10s and MP9s.
Oh, great time to drop a smoke. They'll want to commit to this execute, but that smoke actually might force them back. If they decide to pivot here and twist over towards this bomb site, the CTs have really big problems. Luckily for them, there's not enough time left on the clock, so they are going to commit in here.
Oh wow, Daniel Armatura is actually taking a step forward to try and take the fight, but Flauser's already flipped the net. they are going to have to go hunting for him. Daniel Armatura, you've done God's work by getting a double there, but you still need to put the squeeze on Squez. There's a headshot. Now you can't get the plant going. Squez is just trying to keep himself scarce, and it doesn't matter if you can recover the bomb. Just desperately trying to get it down. My goodness, how do you even get that? Squez, what a fumble. Plane running in, still trying to salvage the madness, but a single bullet escaping a Yuki's barrel will put an end to the chaos.
That's the round. That's the round that kills CYBERSHOKE prospects right there and then. That demoralizes everybody in that camp. How has he not denied the bomb plan? He's done everything right. 4 seconds left. You just need to swing him as wide as possible and look to try and get him off the bomb. And I cannot believe he doesn't.
It's just one of
take
those
him off
moments
it.
where when you look back at it, it seems so simple, but in the moment, your hands just haven't cooperated.
The hands are shaking, you're sweating, you should have this kill. He's not even going to be shooting back at you. You just need to line up the headshot, and while Zeke is spinning around trying to get that bomb down, does very, very well to even recover that round. But honestly, that should be the round that completely just kills off CYBERSHOKE prospects.
Nuclear Tigers, all they need to do now is rub salt in the already gaping wounds of CYBERSHOKE prospects. Here they come, though. A Yuki and Flauser laying down the law. Plane creeping through the smoke, but all they can feel are bullets, even when they can't see anything. Squez and Dania pull away. They've got access to the A bomb site, but this bomb is being chased down. They know exactly where he is. The secondary player can't even help. He's trying his damnedest to just put as much distance in between himself and the rest, but this is the most circus train wreck of a round I've ever seen. They desperately try and get behind the bomb. They still have to watch out for Daniel Armatura, though. Squez in this Tom and Jerry style worth of scenes. He's also going to get a kill as he tries to slip away, but eventually, much like every episode, Jerry does get caught. Daniel Armatura, though, still 2 up ahead, 20 seconds. He's probably going to be forced to get both kills if he wants to try and salvage this. But are they even going to allow this kind of transgression? Daniel Armatura just wanting to get this bomb forward, but Zika awaits to clothesline.
I feel like in that moment in time, if we had some like Harry Hill music, that would have been just absolutely perfect. Like, just even circus music would have been absolutely perfect. He was giving them the run around. I mean, fair play. Look, he was trying his best. I mean, what else is he meant to do in that situation? Just a horrible spot. But it's again, Nuclear Tigers. They look like they're so prepared. They go for a 4-man B bomb site stack to kick off that pistol round, and that's 4 out of 4 now for them. Very difficult to win a game of Counter-Strike. Never mind even a series, but just a map in general, when you're losing both pistols and all the conversions on top of it as well, it's just such a massive, massive problem for them. Yuki, oh, he needs to be careful. He's dead here. Just here. Oh, gets the nade down. Oh, doesn't find the kill. And he's dead if he peeks again. Pistols trying to make their way out brackets. It's going to be Zika trying to hold the line here, and it's just pretty plain and simple, pretty easy. There's Labio. Gets a Tech 9 to try and play around with, but he's got 5 players to deal with on 28 HP. It's just not going to happen. Flowers now spotted him. There's the swing, and there is the kill. It is squeaky clean for Nuclear Tigers as they get up onto double digits.